This is Bold TV. All right. Good morning, beautiful people out there. Welcome to another episode of Bold TV this Saturday morning. I don't know what the weather is like where you are, but it's hot here, and I would appreciate some ice from Canada. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here with us once again. Today is our maiden edition of Bold Stories. Did I hear drum rolls? Did I hear someone clapping? Bold Stories. This is a new initiative on Bold TV. And before I go ahead, I'd like to remind you that Bold TV is powered by Bold Hearts Initiative, and it is a network of beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities. Today is our first ever episode of Bold Stories. What is Bold Stories? Bold Stories is a platform where we showcase different women with disabilities, women who are making huge strides and achievements out in the world, and we bring their stories to you to encourage, motivate, and just help someone out there know that you're not alone and that it is possible. So today I am going to, we have a guest in the house. But before I bring her up, I'm going to introduce myself. I am your host and anchor for today. My name is Affiong Etim. I'm a lab scientist based in Uyo. I'm a co-host on Bold TV, a member of Bold Hearts Initiative, and I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury. So I'd like to, before my guest comes on to, take on for the interview, I'd like to just give us, allow a few minutes for the introduction. We will play you a short introduction, a montage of who she is, and then she will come on.
This is the Bold Story.
OluwaTomison Olatayo is a visually impaired broadcast journalist, copywriter, language tutor, public speaker, and gender disability rights advocate. She was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and grew up with her maternal grandmother after the untimely demise of her father. In 2009, OluwaTomison lost her sense of sight after a series of unsuccessful eye surgeries. However, her loss of sight didn't translate to a loss of vision. A graduate of mass communication from the Moshood Abiola Polytechnic Abeokuta, she has over 5 years of experience in communication, advocacy, and campaign. Currently, OluwaTomison is a co-presenter of a feminine show, Ladies Rendezvous, on Ogun State Television, OGTV. She is also a co-host of an all-female with disabilities show by Bold Hearts Initiative tagged Bold TV, Beautiful Outstanding Ladies with Disabilities TV. She also tutors children in diaspora in Yoruba language. OluwaTomison is passionate about issues that affect women and girls with disabilities in Nigeria and is motivated to seek freedom, growth, and development for women with disabilities through her professional and personal engagements. OluwaTomison is married to Noah Olatayo, and they are blessed with a princess, Naomi Imisiolua. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bold Stories with OluwaTomison Olatayo.
All right. Now, my guest is here. Some of you will know her as a co-host on Bold TV. And I decided that this maiden edition, charity begins at home. So I am going to put her on the hot seat. Okay, so I bring to you my guest for today, OluwaTomison Olatayo. Tomison, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Affiong. I don't know, feels good and weird to be here at the same time. But thank you for having me.
All right, it's good to have you. And our guests, after the montage, I'm sure our guests have seen just how accomplished you are. So, without any further ado, I will jump into delving into your life today. So, I hope you're well, seated. Don't worry, there'll be no negative surprises. All right. So, my first question to you will be, I want you to share with us briefly on your disability journey. How did it begin? Just give us step by step. Try and keep it as brief as possible. We don't have so much time. How did this journey begin? How you became blind, and the events that surrounded this life-changing experience.
Thank you very much, Affiong, once again. Good morning to our viewers, our lovers out there. And for starters, my name is OluwaTomison Olatayo. I'm a visually impaired person, and I can say my visual impairment started when I was a child. Okay, so from childhood through my primary education, secondary education, I was that student you would see in class with a glasses. Usually people call those of us using glasses efiko, because it's widely believed that if you use a glasses, you definitely be an intelligent person. And I must say that was the case as at the time. I was using glasses. I had what you call short-sightedness. Soon afterwards, during my SSC examinations, I discovered that I had blurry vision. And so I just managed, I think it was my second paper, SS3, that I discovered I had that blurry vision. And so I really couldn't even see my examination paper with or without the glasses, and because I was doing the examination in another school, not a school I am very familiar with, it was a whole lot of problem. I mean, if it were to be the school I was familiar with, maybe, she cannot see, okay, let me help her and all of that. So it was really strange. It was really uncomfortable. It was really awkward where I had my SSC examination. But we had to just stay focused, and I finished the exam. I went in for medical checkups, and it was discovered I had cataract that is full blown. And I also had retina detachment. So I had my first surgery October 30th, 2008. That was when I had my cataract surgery and was slated for the retina detachment surgery in February. I was slated for the retina detachment surgery in February 2009, February 14 precisely. And after my cataract surgery, I could see but was unable to read. I couldn't read print. I couldn't even see. If you've gone in for an eye test, you'll notice that they ask you to face a mirror, and then there's a box of alphabet, big, small, medium letters that you have to identify. I couldn't even identify those letters, but I could see. Okay, I could see my mom. I saw what she was wearing. She stood very close to me, but I couldn't read anything else. So the doctors were positive that after the second surgery, I would regain another level of vision. Unfortunately, February 14 came. I went in for surgery, and I came out not seeing anything. And then we had a series of back and forth. They need to do a vitreous hemorrhage surgery. They need to do a silicone oil exchange. We just went back and forth, and at some point, I grew tired because all this surgery came with general anesthesia, and it came with a lot of cost too. It was quite an expensive hospital in Lagos because we couldn't get a government hospital that would, accommodate the kind of illness I have in my eye, the kind of condition. They say they do not have the equipment to do the surgery, and so we moved from several general hospitals, including one in the east, Onitsha, General Hospital Onitsha. We moved from quite a whole lot of them till they kept referring us back to that single private hospital. And so millions went into that fold. I wouldn't lie. And I just told my mom, I am done. Like, this is my Ebenezer. Like, this is where I hang it. So the doctor suggested I go in for rehabilitation. They really also do not have enough information for the rehabilitation process, but they have an idea that, oh, there's a school at Ikeja, PWD, where, visually impaired persons attend. And so we started asking questions, we started seeking information. It was a whole lot of challenge all through the year 2009, because I kept telling my parents I want to go back to school. I don't know how possible that is going to be, but I feel even if it is in this country, if it is in another country, I just need to get back with my education. So fortunately, we found a link to the Nigerian Farm Craft Center for the Blind. That's the only federal government rehabilitation institution in Nigeria at the time. I don't know if there are more right now, I don't know, by the federal government, but that was the only at the time. And what they do in that school is that they accommodate 3 per state. They admit 3 visually impaired persons per state. So you have a combination of, visually impaired from the east, from the north, from the south, wherever in Nigeria, it's usually 3 per state. We tried coming in through Lagos. Lagos was filled up. In fact, Lagos had a long list of waiting students. Tried through Ogun State, that was also filled up. And then I had to go back to my state of origin, Osun State. They had just 1 candidate left. And, I managed to grab the slot. At the time, the school was absolutely free. In fact, the government also provided us with stipends, monthly stipend. But right now, I hear that they now pay tuition fees and all of that. So I had my 1-year rehabilitation, learning mobility, how to move all alone as a visually impaired person, how to, do some personal care, environmental care, how to be independent. We call it mobility, independence, and orientation. That's the title of that course. I had to also learn how to use my hands to make some craft materials such as bags, shoes, belts, flower vases. I also learned how to make home care products such as the liquid soap, the bar soap, disinfectants, air fresheners. Learned how to read Braille as well. I learned how to use a typewriter and so many other skills that would, aid my independence in future. Moving on from there, I attended the Southwest Computer Resource Center. The Southwest Computer Resource Center in Abeokuta. That's where I learned basic computer skills, how to use my laptop, use my computer. Thereafter, I had to now, re-strategize, because before I got blind, I was a science student, hoping to be a medical doctor. And as a blind person in Nigeria, there are no facilities, no structures, even for you to study other courses, let alone medicine. So I had to, retrace my steps, attend a 1-year tutorial to fit into that arts department. And then I sat again for GCE. I didn't make it because the art class was still very strange to me, learning to navigate through government, literature, and all of that. So I didn't make all my papers in that sitting. And then I sat again and said, oh, well, I have to do this. And of course, the second time I made my papers, went in for jam me small. Jam me small. And then I went in again. And I resorted to attending the Polytechnic. And so, jam me small. And then I resorted to attending the Polytechnic, Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, where I studied mass communication, OND, HND. From there, proceeded to serve, was initially posted to Sokoto, redeployed back to your state after my 3 weeks orientation, served at a media house in Oyo State. After my service, I was retained for a bit. At least I worked for another 1.5 years with them before I decided to relocate again to Ogun State, where I continued, life as a journalist.
Okay.
as a sound engineer, all of those things I do, gender disability rights advocacy.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tomisi, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Wow. I can't. You make it seem easy. All those things you're saying. I moved from here to there. I did this and that. It seems easy, but believe me, I am sure it is far. It was far from easy back then.
It
You have the benefit of hindsight now, and experience. So now it just seems like we did this and that and that. But I can imagine how difficult it must have been. How you felt, going through all those different stages. Knowing, I can't imagine, waking up and suddenly you can no longer see. I cannot wrap my head around that. I can't imagine for a young woman what that would mean, how difficult it would be to adjust to that new reality. So now, I'm just, I believe someone out there listening, and, you may think your own problems are much, but it's good to always have the benefit of someone else's experience so you can compare and have reasons to be grateful because nobody has it easy. So now I'm just going to ask you, because our time is moving. I believe that no matter the situation we find ourselves, there are always two sides to any coin. So now I'm going to ask you, what are the negatives and the positives of, your kind being, having your kind of disability? Just briefly, give us maybe two of each. What are the negatives and the positives of having your kind of disability? And believe me, there are positives. I know people think disability has no cause that to be happy about, but there are positives. So please share.
Okay, so I'll start with the negative first and wrap it up with the positive. The negative of having my kind of disability is that it's basically you cannot see. So you would need third party or a second party to help you see around you. And when I say a second or third party, that would readily move me into the positive. Technology has been so kind to persons with visual impairment. And sometimes it seems like you can see now. Why are you lying? Actually, you say you cannot see. So, and adaptation is also another thing that also makes it look like people with visual impairment, or myself as an example, can see, when in actual fact, I don't see anything. I can't even see lights. But adaptation, learning over the years to be independent, learning over the years to assess your environment, wherever it is you find yourself, has made this easy. And it looks like you can see, or maybe you can see small, or you can see a little, like people would say, you can see with your inner eyes. Because I've heard a lot of that so many times. And people say, okay, you cannot see, but I know your inner eyes is working. You can see with it, right? That's why you can see me. So that's why it looks like the inner eye and other eyes are there. And so the positive would then be that as a person with visual impairment, you're likely going to get through some places easily and get some things easily, things that people will naturally struggle for. We live in a sympathetic society, and so in this kind of society, people will be quick to sympathize with you. People will be quick to give you access, to give you information, to give you the way, to encourage you. And so you're likely going to find all of those things and then use it to your own advantage. So there's a difference between when you are presented opportunity and when you are also able to use it to your advantage. So that's one positive of my disability. And it's easy for us as visually impaired persons to squeeze through environments. It's easy for us to squeeze through environments. It's easy for us to readily require help, and you get it. People are like, okay, maybe I should just hold your hand. Okay, there's no, you are able to navigate even when you are not with a sighted guide. It's easy for you to quickly package yourself and then act fast in environment. So I think that's one of the positive of the disability. Quite a lot, but I mean, it will be peculiar to individuals to say, okay, this is the positive I see in my disability. This is the negative I encounter in my disability.
All right. Thank you so much. I think you see that disability thing. Many people feel, and they are feeling sorry for me. My sister, take advantage of what you have. You know this. You go somewhere, immediately they see you. They are like, and it's not limited to blindness. You go
Mm.
somewhere, if you have a disability, and it's obvious. People will tend to, I've had people walk up to me and like, oh, can I help you? Can I help you? And you go somewhere, everybody's like, please allow her to go through. And I'm like, oh, please move. I need to go. So please use what you have. Use what you have. So thank you so much for sharing. There are negatives, yes, it can be difficult, but then you must find the joy wherever it is. Just curate your own happiness, make your own happiness, regardless of circumstances. So now, speaking of happiness, let's move on to the next question. I want you to share. I know you've had some hilarious experiences, maybe a bit humiliating, but funny experiences. So could you just share one with us? A funny story of something that has happened to you since you became blind.
Okay, so I think I'm just going to, talk about that generally. So now, as a visually impaired person, maybe because you cannot see, people assume you cannot also hear. And so you are right there, and they are talking about you to someone beside them, and you can hear, and you're like, maybe I should just say, excuse me, I can hear you. Why not just ask me the question directly? Imagine, okay, I remember there was a time in class, at the Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, I had some people sitting behind me. I was the only one sitting in front at the time. That was during my ONG days. And, they were really saying a lot of things. How does she know how to combine colors? How does she know how to do this? How you used to see her, and I used to see how Lilo come to school. She'll get down at the bus shed. How does she do that? She even used to rub powder. Yeah, how does she do that? I'm sure somebody was doing it for her. And I was really there in between. And I could know, I could feel, I could hear. I almost turned my head to say, please just engage me in this conversation. Let me people explain to you people so that I stop gossiping about me when I'm still here. So I don't know. People assume that you've got another disability other than blindness, and instead of approaching you with their questions or taking their gossip behind you, they do it right there in your presence, and you're like, I'm here. You're talking about me. So for me, that's always an hilarious situation. I get home sometimes and I laugh. Even in the buses, he helps me say, she shouldn't be moving alone. She should have gotten somebody, maybe her daughter. And at the time, I don't even have a daughter. I'm not even married. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, because of blindness, I have to go and marry Abby. Okay, so it's and then I remember another very hilarious situation with my white cane. I remember somebody trying to assist me one time like that, and then the person pulling my guide cane instead of holding my hand, and I think it was strange. It was really strange. It was awkward. It was and I was like, oh, wait, auntie, hold on. And she kept dragging the cane with me. I said, I can't down, hold on, this one is for me. So you find a whole lot of funny experience on the daily, except if you don't go, even amongst your family members. I remember my little sister asking why. She was just 5 at the time, and she was asking me, why do I always walk as if I cannot see? I honestly don't know.
You are fortunate. You're quite fortunate. Speaking of hilarious experiences, my niece, my sister's daughter, the mother came to tell me one day that, and funny enough, ever since they were born, my niece and nephew, they've never, unlike other children who seem to be curious about me, they've never asked me, Auntie Affi, what's wrong with you? Why did you? They've never asked. Somehow they are used to seeing me like that. And then the mom came and told me that obviously she had been, thinking about me and trying to make sense of why I was always seated in a wheelchair. And then she approached the mom and said, Mommy, I don't think Auntie Affi is a real person.
Ew.
I don't think Auntie Affi is a real person. Because she's not walking, everybody else is walking, but she's not walking on the leg. She's always sitting down. I don't think she's a real person. I say, hey, alien like me, God help me.
Alien from Mars. Yeah, so,
ask me you laugh about this thing.
and you're like, how do I even answer how I have my back? I have my back, none.
Oh, I had that question too. I had that question too. Believe me, a child asked me, Auntie, how do you shower? I say, hell, Allah, where do we
And then you're
start?
thinking, what is it? I'm not telling you.
All right. Thank you so much. If we go into these stories, we won't leave here today. There are so many, And I love the kids because I know there's no malice behind their questions and they're just curious. So I love
Just pure
entertaining their
curiosity.
questions. All right. So we are rounding up now. We are rounding up this episode. I hope our viewers, I hope you're having fun along with us. I hope, and I'm sure you have your own stories and one day you will get to share them with us. So finally, to the final question we have for today before we round up. There are many other young women like you out there who are visually impaired. And many of them are struggling. It's difficult. Some of them, many of them, like, in the disability community, many don't have access to the kind of education they should. So many may not be as literate, as you are. So I want you to motivate a blind girl or woman out there. Motivate them, let them know, say something, just a few words to motivate them.
I currently have someone like that I'm talking to at the moment, and I'm sure she would be watching this episode because I've told her I would always send, Bold TV to her every week, something to motivate her. And this is probably going to be the first episode I send to her, and many other persons like that. This is somebody who got visually impaired in her prime. Until date, she is unable to step out of the house on the day. Even her parents will not let her. And she's, almost in her late 30s now. And, it's boring. It's not like, as exciting as our youthful years is supposed to be. And I would say that to that special kind of woman or girl out there, I want you to be determined. Disability comes along with a lot of frustration, a lot of condemnation, a lot of no, a lot of negatives. So it is your own determination that will help you pull through. I remember the very first time I traveled within Lagos. I left school, I wanted to see my mom. She never expected it. I just showed up. She was at work when they called her that I was at home. And she was like, have I regained my sight? How? Where? How? Why? When? So I knew if I had told her I was coming home, she would have asked me to stay. She would find someone, even when it's not convenient, to come pick me. And so I would say that you just need to be determined. Independence, your freedom, your independence is not negotiable because trust me, you can't keep relying on people. You can't keep relying on families. You can't keep relying on friends. They also have got their lives to live. Sometimes it's not easy for them to tell you no. They don't even want to tell you no. And so instead of saying no outrightly, they keep posting you. And then you become dejected. Maybe you have a task you need to achieve, you need to carry out. And because you do not have someone around you. So I just want you to be that encouragement for yourself. A lot of discouragement, people will see you on the way and say, hey, why are you going out? You should have stayed at home. That's a discouragement, by the way. So you have to be determined. You just have to put your head and heart together that, oh, I am doing this. And trust me, the sky will just be your beginning line. I wish you all the best, and I hope you find information as well. Get information, get help. No person with disability in this 21st century is useless. No, nobody.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing time. I've enjoyed myself. I've had fun. Tomison, I'm sure you've also had fun. It's been, great talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your life, sharing yourself, a bit of yourself with us. And in addition, I'd like to say to someone out there, own your story. Your story is a huge part of your identity. Own your story. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for having the kind of life you have had. You owe it to yourself to be more than you are. You owe it to yourself to do more than you're doing. So own your story, step out there and see how you can also leave a mark so that people will look back and say, hey, someone is looking up to you no matter what. And, hoping that they can also get to where you are. So own your story and try to do more and be more. So I'm glad we've come to the end of this episode of Bold Stories, powered by Bold Hearts Initiative. and it's brought to you on Bold TV. I'd like you to reach out to us with your comments, suggestions. You want to partner with us, we solicit for your partnership through finance, by way of financial support, by way of, liking and sharing our videos. Check out our videos on YouTube and Facebook. And I'd also like to say that if you want to come on this show to share your story with us, please reach out to me or to Freki to let her know that you would like to be, on the hot seat, and we will definitely entertain you. We will host you. Thank you so much. I'm your host again, Affiong Etim, and it's been an amazing time hanging out with you. So watch out for this on Saturday, 10:30 a.m. when we come your way, and we look forward to always hearing from you. So thank you. Bye. Do have a wonderful weekend.
This is Bold TV.